Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Marvin. If today is the first time of stopping by, you're most definitely welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome to another session on my channel. So today is just a conversation with a brother. He's also from Ghana, but I'll let him give a brief description of himself. So he's just going to tell us how his whole journey started from Ghana, and now he's here in Canada. So stick and stay, and let's go straight into the video. Yeah, so I'll give him the platform to introduce himself to my channel.
All right. So my name is Umar Mohammed Swabir. I'm from Ghana, as my brother rightly said. I'm a student at Memorial University, where I am studying Master of Applied Science, Energy Systems Engineering.
Yeah. Okay. So Umar, so tell us, why Canada, or why did you choose to come to Canada in the first place? Why didn't you choose America, UK, Australia? Why Canada?
All right. So this question, actually, I have not thought through about it even during my process, because I closed that chapter of my life, like wanting to study abroad, I think back in 2014. Oh. But then I was having, we had a workshop with one Canadian. I think I will keep his name in the books. I will not mention it on the channel. We had a workshop with him, and actually the workshop went so well, and then I became very interested because of the way he was going about his things. So I was asking him more about where he was from, how the place was, and all those kinds of stuffs. But then I didn't actually follow it up with this application up until a while. So I was actually interested in visiting Canada because he mentioned a lot of nice things about the place, the people, the culture, and I kind of get hooked. I wanted to see it for myself.
Okay. When did you start applying to schools in Canada? How many schools did you apply to here?
All right. So I think it was the aftermath of the COVID. After the COVID pandemic, it actually shook everyone. It shook the whole country, actually, Ghana. It affected jobs. Yeah. And even though it didn't affect us directly, but because the place I was working with, we had expatriates coming in and going out. Yeah. And when they closed the border, it was it delayed the project. So that was when I had a visit from my cousin. He came to my place, and then we were having a conversation. We were having a discussion about my job, and he said, "Why don't you apply to school outside and go out and study?" And I was like, I wanted to do this some time ago, but now I have a family and I know I have a job, so I didn't want to do it. And funny thing, when we were having that discussion, I think Marvin sent him a message, and he was like, "Look, Marvin is also interested." And I was like, "Hey, you know what? You are very persuasive, so I will take this information and I'll work on it." So that was exactly when the interest started growing. Actually, so I took the links, and then I made some very brief research about the school, about the program he was talking about, and the requirements, and I think some few things about the fees. Yeah, so that was exactly when the interest started growing.
The reason why I'm laughing is I work with his cousin. We used to work together at the same company, so, and we were all doing this school application processes, like, together. We used to communicate. We even applied to like same schools, like some of the schools we applied to like the same school. So yeah, I know like the whole story. That's why it was a bit funny. So yeah, so now you decided to look into Canada.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Memorial University? Was it because of the tuition fees, which was lower compared to like other schools? Why did you choose Memorial?
Exactly. I think tuition fee influenced my decision. In terms of percentage, I think 90% of my decision. honestly, at that time, the dollar to CD conversion rate, the Canadian dollar to Ghana CD conversion rate was actually good.
Yeah.
So I first converted the tuition fee, which was around approximately 10,000 Canadian dollars into Ghana cedis, and it was around 70,000 cedis. And I was like, okay, I can afford this. I didn't know about any special fees. Guys, when you are preparing to apply to schools, you should inquire more. If you need to write a personal mail to their school of graduate studies and find out if there are special fees or anything of that sort, you should actually go all out. So I didn't know about the special fees. So immediately I saw the tuition fee, I was like, hey, this is very cheap. This is relatively cheaper to other places. And there were even some schools back in 2014, I had scholarship to study in Turkey, and they were even willing to pay tuition fee and monthly spend. But there's very few fees you'll be paying. It's even expensive than having to come here. And so yeah, the fees actually influence everything. But then I didn't know about the special fee. But I think at some point we will get there, and then we will talk more about it. Yeah.
So now you've chosen Memorial University. Take us through the process.
So the process was actually very brief. It didn't take me long because I had all the documents needed in my Google Drive. The only challenge I had was I had forgotten my Google Drive password. So I had to change the password. Like, I had to go through the process to access it, and all my documents were in there. And then I had my statement of purpose, which was quite old, so I had to update it to meet with the current format. And I had to prepare a Canadian CV. Yes, I had to prepare a Canadian CV. The CV I had back home wasn't in a Canadian format, so I had to quickly go to the internet and then search for a sample of the Canadian CV, and then I had to format my CV to meet that requirement. The application process took me less than 30 minutes to be done with because I had all these documents. I was really prepared. I had almost everything at hand, so I was just going through the application process, and within 30 minutes I was done.
You know, I always tell people on my channel that for you to apply to schools, it's very easy. Once you look out for all the necessary documents you are required to upload, if you sit down, the procedure is on the school's website, and then there's a step-by-step process. Within in less than an hour, like he said, he completed his whole application process for Memorial University. So guys, sometimes you just have to read and then get the information from the school's own website. You don't have to ask anybody, right? So so when was this? When did you do this? Which year was this?
This was in, I think, 2020, November.
Okay.
November 2020, is that right? I'm not quite sure about, or 2021.
2021.
Yes, I think November 2021 was when I applied. And to be honest, I didn't know anything about when they will be calling. And you know, guys, I just did the application because my cousin was very persuasive. He wanted me to do it, and I just said, oh, okay, I'm going to apply. So I just did the application. But even though I was doing it because someone was persuading me to do it, I was doing it right. That's something you should pay attention to. You don't just do things because someone is telling you to do it, but you do it and you do it well.
Exactly.
So I did the application, I think in 2021, yes, November.
Okay. So now, November 2021, you are done with your application. When did you get feedback from the school?
It was in March 2022. I don't know the exact day, but I think it is in the first few weeks of March. I received a mail from Memorial University. Actually, it was quite funny. I just returned from the masjid, and then I was checking my messages, and I saw this mail. Immediately I saw the mail, I closed, I just closed the screen because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it to happen this soon. And then all of a sudden, I saw this mail from Memorial congratulating me that I've been accepted to study, so and so. So I didn't even read the whole message. I just looked at the heading and then I closed it. So it was later, after having my supper, I took the time to read through the mail, and then I saw that, okay, I've made the cutoff, like I have been admitted to study here in Memorial University.
So now you've gotten your congratulatory message from the school. What did you do next?
So in the letter, I was given 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks to accept or reject the offer. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really looking forward to it. So immediately I received this application, in my head, I knew I was going to reject it. I wasn't going to take the offer. Yes. But then I said, okay, since they've given me 2 weeks to accept, I'm not going to make a hasty decision. So I gave myself some time to start researching. That was when I found the minimum expense sheet, and then I saw the payment plans. I was able to see the special fees, and the special fees played a vital role in my rejection, which will turn out to be one of the worst decisions I have taken, actually, to have rejected the offer. When I had the option of deferring. And it was a lot of things, which included the special fees and some family related issues. But I think the special fees was the main reason I had to reject the offer, which I could have accepted and then deferred.
So you outrightly rejected the offer?
Yes. No, not immediately. Like I gave myself some few days to think about it, made research about the fees, about the place I'm coming to study. And this might sound weird. I am someone who actually doesn't like cold. And Marvin will attest to that. Before coming, I had to ask him a lot of questions. And some of them are even funny for to put it out here. But then it was quite something that I was really interested in. Something like, do they have heaters in all homes and those things, because I don't like the cold at all. When it is cold, I don't function well.
Okay, so 2 weeks after you got the offer, you rejected it. Right?
Yes.
So what happened next? When did you contact the school again to, make any changes? What happened next?
So I think I rejected this offer in March. The same month I received the offer, I rejected it. And then because I was looking forward to, we had some few issues at work which we were in the process of resolving those issues. So I was looking forward to that more than leaving for school. Yes. But then I think something happened, and then it changed my mind about the school. And one of the reasons was that, I will share this with you guys, it's no secret. We went to build an Islamic school for my dad, and then my brother brought up the conversation of him trying to apply to schools outside, and it clicked. And I told him, oh, even 3 weeks ago I had an admission from Canada and I rejected it. I didn't know my dad was listening to our conversation, and he heard it, and immediately he said, what? You had an admission to study in Canada and you didn't tell anyone about it, and you have even rejected it? And I said, yeah, I mean, my rejection was based on so and so. And he was like, but at least we could have tried something. And I said, okay. So at that time, I wasn't thinking of reaching back to the school. It wasn't part of their plan. I was looking to reapply when like the open admission. So I was like, okay, maybe I should try again, because this man is saying this, so I should give it a try. And 6 months down the line, I was sitting in my room, and something said, just write a letter to the School of Graduate Studies explaining to them the reason behind your rejection. And guys, this is something that most often people don't like to do. Like, we don't want to inquire, and it is if I say this, I'm saying it for myself, and I am saying it for the circle of people like I've been with, especially back home. Yeah. Sometimes we feel kind of heavy to ask for something, but it is most of the times the things that you ask for, believe me, 70 to 80% of the time you get it. Exactly. So I was like, hey, I'm going to write a letter. So I wrote a half page of letter to the graduate studies, and some of the things I touched on was the COVID, which has affected almost everyone. Yeah. It affected businesses, and I described my personal issues in relation to how COVID has affected me, some of the businesses I was running, and then the family issue and financial problems in just some few lines. And I was very concise. Like, I went straight to the point, and it was very clear. And I sent this mail to the School of Graduate Studies.
So this was back in around September?
September, exactly.
All right.
September, yes. So I did this, and funny enough, the school replied to me in less than a minute.
Sorry, September 2022?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
So I did this in September 2022, sent them a mail, and in less than a minute, guys, I received. So I was like, is this an auto-generated reply? Yeah. But then after clicking on the mail, I saw that no, it was actually a written mail, because it went direct. It was direct, and if I remember what the message read, it was like, would you like to be reconsidered for fall 2023? And I was in a state of shock, because I was like, is it that my profile is so good that, or is it that the school really wants people to come? Yeah. But then later on, I found out that maybe I had a very good profile, which was quite challenging, and for that matter, the school wanted to give me a second chance. So that was when I actually wanted to be here, after they said they were going to reconsider my application. And they did all this thing within like 20 minutes. They reconsidered, got back to me with a reply saying that my application has been reconsidered. And I had to even log in to confirm for myself that yes, the 2022 to 2023 has changed to 2023, 2024. And that was then I saw that my application has been reconsidered, yes.
Okay. So what happened from there? Did they just send you like a new admission letter? What happened?
Actually, that was what I was expecting, that because they've reconsidered my application, my profile shouldn't go through the process again. But it didn't happen that way, because their application usually close sometimes in I think January, and therefore they send out admission letters in March. Okay. So I had to wait from that September to I think March end
of 2023.
2023, and it was one of the longest waits, guys, because this time around, my mind, my heart, my everything was all into it, and for this reason, a day was so long for me, and I couldn't wait. I have been joining pages, like I was having conversation with guys, like new applicants, and they were telling me, Umar, you don't have to worry, you have been through the process before, so at least your profile, And I was like, no. From time to time, these people tend to kind of change their requirements, so if I have been through the process, I should have received my acceptance letters long before, but if it is taking this long, probably they are reconsidering everything once again. And guys, during the waiting period, I waited, and then I ended up even closing my mind. Not to say that I have closed it totally, but I was like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, at least it was worth trying. So I had to wait,
So now they got back to you in March
2023. Yeah.
Okay, so what happened next? So now you are aware of the special fee and all of those extra fees.
Exactly.
So now you've gotten your admission letter again. I'm sure the special fees, the breakdown was part of the admission letter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So now you've gotten your new admission letter. What next? Did you quickly apply for the study permits?
No. after, honestly, before, during the wait period, I was working towards mobilizing some funds, because I tried to be proactive. But then after a while, I was like, okay, these people are not responding to me within, like, I had a plan in mind. I was looking forward to receiving their response like in 3 months time, and it didn't happen. And you know how inflation affects currencies back home. Yes. So I was like, instead of keeping these funds around or taking people's money or those kind of things and having to wait for this long period, it is going to actually affect the purchasing power of the currency. So I slowed down a bit, but I had in mind what I had to work towards. So immediately I received the acceptance letter for the second time. I with my documentations, everything was intact. So now I started working towards the funds. Immediately I received. So I wanted to apply early, like in April, but then due to 1 or 2 reasons, it delayed till May. That was when, I think, second week in May, that was when I applied for my visa, my visa application, yes.
So the documents you used in applying for your visa, was there any troubles getting some of the documents? Did you have a bulky application file?
Yeah, I did, guys. You know, I am that kind of I don't know, those kind of soldiers. When they want to finish their enemy, they want to leave no trace. So when I invest myself into something or I want to do something, I go all out. It's either I am doing it or I am not doing it at all. There is no in between for me. So when I decided I wanted this, I started preparing and I was going all out, guys. The documents I prepared for, maybe if I start mentioning them, but I'll give you a highlight of some of the documents. And it starts from, let's leave down. Okay.
Maybe like just for proof of funds, because that's the most important part.
All right.
So were you sponsoring yourself or you had like a co-sponsor attached to you?
All right. So as I said, I was going all out. I was sponsoring myself and I had additional sponsor.
Okay.
Exactly. Because I knew that when you have the acceptance letter, RCC, now their focus turns away from your because the school has written to you, so your process is genuine. They might verify it to make sure that your school is a DLI, which the school also specify that in your acceptance letter they give you there. But then their attention now turns to, will you be able to fund yourself whilst you are in school, or do you have any setup? So my focus now is on the proof of funds. Exactly. So I was going all out. I was looking for sponsors. I was looking for funds to assist myself. And then I was adding almost every document, guys. If you have a land, you have a car, you have even your SNIT contribution, even your tier 2 contribution, tier 3 contribution, all these things counts because they really want to see that you really do have some funds saved that can support you or you can get us. And some of these documents might even end up being, how do they call it, home ties. Like it will help you to show that you really have investment back home. And therefore it will really help you in your application. So I gathered almost every document, and at the end I have to even take out some of the documents because I was exceeding the file size. Yes.
So you used the new portal, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So and the co-sponsor, he or she wasn't a family member, right? Or
I think she wasn't a direct member, but I think her brother is married to my sister, so you know it's like family, you know.
So I just want to stress on the point that the sponsor can be anybody at all, but you just have to show proof of the kind of relationship you have with the person.
Yes.
Because I get questions like most of the times from people, you know, asking these kind of, you know, about this thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just for clarity's sake.
And just to add to this, even though she was in the family circle, I still, like, we wrote a letter for her to append her signature to it, saying that this is my relation with her, and even went to the court for them to seal it for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it means you did your visa application in April, right? April of 2023.
Yeah.
Or
May.
May 2023.
May, yes.
When did you did medicals as well, or you waited?
I waited. Actually, I watched Marvin's video, you know, and he mentioned that doing the upfront medical is good, but if you are someone, especially for me, I'm that kind of person, I get anxious very easily. So in order to know that my application is moving in the right direction, I needed some kind of feedback from IRCC to at least comfort myself to know that my application. So when I watched the video, you explained that doing the upfront medical is good, but if you really want to keep track of your application, sometimes you wait for them to invite you. At least if they invite you for medicals, you know that you are making progress. Yeah. So I didn't make an upfront medicals. I waited. Yeah.
So you applied in May 2023.
Yes.
When did they ask you to do medicals?
I think after my application, 2 weeks after I did my biometrics, and then 2 weeks after the biometrics, I went for my medicals.
So that's roughly a month.
Yes.
So after the medicals, when did they finally request your passports?
You know what? I think all my process has been 2 weeks after the next points. You know, immediately after. You know, guys, see, if your documents are genuine, one, and like when you follow the requirement closely, and everything is intact, IRCC has no reason to reject unless otherwise, whatever you are declaring in your file, they have additional question about it. That's why it is important when you are gathering your documents. Immediately after my medicals got updated 2 weeks after it, after I've taken the medicals, and then the next day they sent me a mail that I should bring my passport. Yes.
Just tell us briefly your transition from Ghana, like your flight to Canada.
Yeah. You know, to be honest, it was my first time boarding the flight. So you know, when you are back home, you hear a lot of stories about, traveling challenges. And if you are somebody who likes to watch this kind of border securities documentary, you have a lot in mind, and sometimes you create an image of what your travel should be like. And I think I had that kind of photographic memory in my mind. But then it all turned out to be a smooth transition, starting from booking my flight, because I booked it late and it was quite expensive. So guys, if you have the chance to do your applications earlier and get your visa early, so that you have like 3 to 4 months to book your flight, it is good. You get it very cheap, because I booked it when it was very close to September and it was relatively expensive. Yeah. So from the booking of the flight, I didn't want to make any mistakes. I think there was this day I was engaging Marvin almost throughout the whole day. We were having back and forth. I wanted to use Expedia, and then he would tell me, go to the flight main page to make this. And I was actually trying to get the cheapest flights. And then because I have not taken this journey before, I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. So I booked my flight the same day we had that lengthy conversation. I booked the flight, and that was it. I think after that, I was just waiting for the said day, and then that day came. I think I was supposed to start my journey at Kotoka on the 28th of August. Yes, the 28th of August. And guys, there is this thing people usually do when they have to check in. Some of their flights, they will send you an online check-in. Don't take that to be the final check-in. Yeah. Even though if you check in online, because you are disclosing whatever you are you are traveling with. But then at the airport, somebody has to also check and ensure that. So after doing the online check-in, don't say that, oh, because I've already checked in, so I'm going to wait 30 minutes before my flight boarding, and then I'll go to the airport. Guys, you need to be there 3-4 hours earlier, check in from the airport, and then probably hang around waiting for your flight. I've seen people miss their flight because after doing the online check-in, they were waiting. Yeah. So I did my online check-in even the night before, and then the next day I left Koforidua around I think 10 a.m. and then I got to Accra around 11 to 12. Waited for a while, and then I did my check-in. Everything was smooth.